Welcome to World Cinema Reviews. It's your host Frank the Vamp, and we're continuing the analyzing the franchise for Child's Play. Tonight is that video that not a lot of people are very excited to talk about, but it's in the franchise, so we got to talk about it. And we're gonna talk about Cito Chucky. Here you go. This is, if you read the internet comments and you go around, this is by far the most despised, hated, unliked Chucky movies there. In fact, I have talked to a lot of people, and very, very, very few have admitted to like this movie. This movie in particular, was made in 2004. Don Mancini, written and directed this time. And before I start really talking about this film, people have called this, and I think it does go to the absurd, where he took the critics of the movie said that he took the dark humor of Brad Chucky and he took it to the next level of nonsense. Many people have called it an insult, unfunny. There's what else is there to say? It's just not what people wanted to see when it came to Chucky. Especially the hardcore fans that were hoping for, a mainstream horror sequel. Going back, okay, we gave you Bride, you did that. Now it's time to come back to horror, right? But no, this one just takes it balls to the walls to dark comedy, even to ridiculous levels, right? So, having said all this, I'm gonna commit sacrilege, and I'm gonna say that this movie, it's a freaking guilty pleasure, am I? Don't kill me. Yeah, I know it's not. Can I say that Seed is a good movie? No. Can I say that it's near the best of the series? No way. It's probably closer to 3, but is it still enjoyable? To me, it is. It's a guilty pleasure, and hear me out. Let's talk about it. Why? Let's talk about why I actually enjoy the film, but not for the reasons that you think. So I'm gonna put Chucky there to entertain you. I know that I don't do this enough. I usually put my ugly mug in front of the camera instead of the DVDs. But I guess once in a while, it's good to look at that beautiful face of Chucky and Tiffany caring for their baby. So the story goes like this. Basically, at the end, spoilers. At the end of part 3. Brad Chucky. From the we find out that the agonizing Tiffany doll actually is giving birth. After she's all burnt and almost dead, she gives birth with her last breath to a creature, a baby of some sort, right? And which happens to be Glenn. And there's Glenn's hand there, but we don't find out about it until next one, where we are treated to a sort of a scene of telling you how things happen there during the, I guess, a weird scene, and we're treated to dream sequences, where you can see where how is young Glenn I mean, I say Glenn Glenda, but we'll get to that. Happens to come out, and what is his, and we it's revealed that you know left abandoned by its parents because they're dead at the end of three. I mean, they're a bride. I'm sorry, and basically what happens is that they really someone picks him up and notices that, hey, it's a freaking demonic talking doll, and puts the doll to work, as a ventriloquist. And then it escapes because the doll wants to find, if he does have parents, where are they, and the now back, back in the you know back in Hollywood, turns out that the infamous dolls of Chucky and Tiffany have been actually made animatronics now for a feature film. And as and of course they mess with them and stuff, thinking that they're just, but they of course accidentally bring them back to life. And there's a meeting of basically the movie. It's you know Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly trying to get back their bodies, and also raise their son, daughter, because the joke is that Glenda has no genitalia, so he can choose to either be a boy or a girl. And yeah. And yeah, the okay, let's talk about, that's where I'm gonna leave it, because it's really confusing and weird. But let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about all the criticism. First of all, you just heard it. The story's all over the place, and it takes it to the absurd. Really, I mean, and so people who did not like Bride, or kind of like shrug, said, okay, it's okay, but it's not quite as good as as straight up, killer Chucky, killer doll, demonic doll, trying to possess, trying to, is more menacing, more. So if they didn't like Bride, they hated this. They hated this with a passion, and that's one of the big reasons why. Also, you can say that Brad Dourif is kind of exaggerating himself, kind of parodying himself. The same thing as Jennifer Tilly here, going even more over the top. Some of the jokes are really bad. Some of the gags don't work. I didn't really care for the. There's a lot of cultural references in this movie, and the "oops, I did it again" thing. It's just with the Britney Spears thing is just stupid, and I mean, there's no other way to call it. There's also the fact that there's a lot of it's the same stars. We still have Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly, right? But this time we have Billy Boyd, from the Lord of the Rings series, the Scottish actor, and he's going like, and he's voicing Glenda, who has a identity crisis, I guess, of sexual matters of sorts. And it's something that it's just really, really weird, and some people just didn't like that, just didn't like the identity crisis. Other things that have been criticized is the acting of rapper Redman there here. Says completely, but we history of rappers in acting hasn't been the best, but there's some pretty good movies that have rappers on them, but they're not necessarily great because of the rappers. I think for my sake, I think it's all right, but some people really hated his appearance there. There's also a John Waters sort of cameo. And some people didn't like that either. They thought, there's a reference to Fangoria also, and some people saw it as a wink to horror fans. Some people saw it as a parody. This is not a Chucky movie. I heard that argument. This is not a Chucky movie. This is a parody of a Chucky movie. This is this is like what Scary Movie. It's to it's to Scream type of thing. Now those are the negative criticisms, and I a lot of them are valid. I'm gonna be honest, but the reason why this is a guilty pleasure for me, it's because it's so freaking over the top. It immediately went to B movie category for me. Once a movie goes B movie, goes completely, totally bonkers, then it's fun. And I think that this movie is fun. It's not a good movie, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna defend it that way. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's so freaking bad. It's good. Brad Dourif is delightful, just so over the top. I mean, if he was over the top for Bride, he's freaking trying to teach his son to be a man. The Made in Japan tattoo, that is featured there, which is the big joke in there. It's funny to me. I mean, it's just so stupid. The joke is so stupid. It has to work. It's just, and it's covered with that, and the fact that he was, Glenn was raised overseas, and he's got a British accent and a Scottish accent. I'm sorry. It's so freaking funny to me, and his sexual identity crisis. By the way, that's an actual great nod to an awesome movie, which is Glenn Glenda. That's a movie made by Ed Wood. So that's the thing. This is a lot of winks to horror fans that people may have missed, but that's just one. That's if you've seen Ed Wood movies like Planet Nine from outer space, they're kind of telling you, yeah, we're making a shitty movie, but we're aware of it. We're making fun of it. The film's opening scene where Chucky's sperm reaches Tiffany's egg, and makes Glenda the baby, it's kind of a spoof of the beginning of sort of like Lucy's Talking, remember? And remember also Glenn Nightmare sequel, is totally like Psycho a little bit, trying to emulate that. And also, I love the film's climax when Chucky, he's about to say that here's Johnny from The Shining line. He says, "Damn, he says something like, I can't think of one thing to say," which is, I remember watching this and being in stitches. The laughter just didn't end. Like I said, the Britney Spears I can do without. That's freaking stupid. The Redman making that movie within a movie, that's stupid too. I can't say it's every joke hits, but this one hits, and the freaking Martha Stewart thing hits. I think they say something like she's gonna be executed or something. And it's just funny. So basically you're just hearing why I like this movie. Jennifer Tilly and Brad Dourif are just as awesome. Billy Boy, he's just so funny. He's just on core. I mean, it's a stupid thing. It's not meant to. This is meant to be like Plan 9 from outer space. This is meant to be like freaking. Let me see. I'm thinking the girl that wouldn't die, or the brain that wouldn't die, or one of those B movies that it's just so dumb that it just sparks a laugh. And that's why my defense of this movie, you can't possibly take it seriously. If you do, you're just gonna be disappointed. Having said all that, it's still not that great. Like I said, I'm not saying this is great. I'm saying this goes maybe a little bit. If I think I said that this is that 3 goes into maybe C minus type of thing, category thing. I think that this one may be a solid C to me. This is a C. I will say that, or I forgot what grade I gave 3, but this is just a little better. But out of all in all, it made me laugh. It made me enjoy my time. It's not great, but I'm also not gonna bury it. I'm not gonna say it's funny because it does have some funny moments. Oh, there's puppet masturbation in this movie. That's a plus. And there's John Waters' face being, melted into acid. Awesome. And cross-dressing puppets, man. Cross-dressing masturbation, cross-dressing puppets, melted face. Oh yeah, artificial insemination by demonic means. What else do you want, people? This movie has it all. Anyhow, I'm not sure I'm going to convince you that this is this is watchable, but if you do, if you do like it, awesome. If you don't, I completely respect it. I can see why. But I'm saying, if you only seen it once and you kind of hate it or wrote it off, give it another watch. And if you've never seen it, I think it's worth a watch. At the very least, I guarantee a couple of chuckles, even if you don't think the whole movie is funny. So that's it. So that's my dreaded video. There's one more. There's Curse of Chucky, which is a completely different thing. It's another turn of the series. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. We'll leave that for next time. Be blessed, guys. Comment. If you didn't like the movie, if you like the movie, I don't care. I just want your comments. And of course, I want you to subscribe. Please don't hate me. Yeah, this is a guilty pleasure. I know I'm sure we all have, shitty movies we like. Hey, that's it. I can't explain it any more than what I already did. So, and I think that this is a little better than other shitty movies I see. So, So not made in Japan. Glenda still brings a chuckle to my heart. See you guys next time for Curse of Chucky. Subscribe!